Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Yeah, thank you very much for watching today. We're going to talk about the problem that's splashed all over the papers today, including the Times. It was on BBC's Radio 4 Today programme this morning. It's in the Daily Telegraph. It's in all the serious papers. It's on the front page of the Daily Mail. They've no space in Britain's prisons. And the government are saying, ordering judges do not sentence convicted rapists, burglars, muggers. Don't sentence them. Leave them on bail. If they're on bail, leave them on bail. We'll get round to sentencing them when we've got some more prison places. In other words, the criminal justice system, we are witnessing the collapse. You've seen that? We're witnessing the collapse. Have a look at today's press. Go online and search it. Britain's prisons in crisis. The criminal justice system, as we knew it, is almost over. Criminals, including rapists, burglars, should not be jailed, according to the government, as prisons are too full. Judges have been advised. Now, what they do with them, hey, the judges won't know, will they? I mean, they're judges. It says that Crown Court judges have been advised to delay sentencing hearings and reminded to take account of the overcrowding when deciding whether to jail an offender. Yeah, so you mug some old lady, beat her up, hospitalise her. Oh, well, we would send you to prison, but we haven't got any cells. Go and lock yourself up at home. Yeah, what kind of a world are we coming to here? The problem is that they lost control some time ago, and they had this period of thing that they called austerity, didn't they? And look what austerity did. It reduced everybody's wages to the point where inflation has overtaken their wages by as much as 20-30%. And that is why we've got people in the medical profession, consultants and junior doctors, striking because their wages do not keep up with the cost of living. Can you blame people for doing this? I mean, it's happened to everybody. And you've got now, I've mentioned this numerous times, people working in the inner cities like London, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, all the big cities, who on the wages that are being paid in the criminal justice system, by the prisons and by the police, the wages are insufficient to maintain a reasonable standard of living. And so people are just walking out. And as I mentioned yesterday, the Independent Monitoring Board at Wandsworth Prison saying when they went round, they found that the staff were inappropriate and inexperienced. In other words, they were objecting to the hostess system and the use of the Vernon girls. you know, when you press the alarm bell, what do you get? You get 4 or 5 women charging along shouting, "Who stole the ding-dong? Who rang the bell? Somebody knows but nobody tell. Who rang the ding-dong? Who rang the bell?" Seriously, it's gone mad. And as we've seen now, the judges are being specifically advised by the Ministry of Justice, by the Home Office, by the government, by the Prime Minister, avoid sentencing people to imprisonment because we don't have anywhere to put them. What next? One wonders. I mean, somebody's going to have to sit down and decide what's happening next. They're already got this mad idea of using a hulk or a prison ship that they've parked up in Portland Harbour, and all the local residents are up in arms about this. I mean, who would want a prison ship parked in the dock outside your beautiful homes? Who would want that? Yeah. And it isn't just that. Now we're talking, the government have actually got the audacity to discuss using cells in foreign countries, renting prison cells in other lands. They've done this in the past, of course. They did it with America in the 18th century. They did it with Australia. So the British government has got a habit of doing this, and it seems, that despite we're in the 21st century, the modus operandi from the 18th century still pertains. What next, folks? What next? There is going to be trouble in HM prisons. You've got places like Pentonville, Wandsworth and the Scrubs massively overcrowded, with inmates failing to receive humane treatment. The prisons can't actually function with the staff that they are given, and operating at 50% of the actual allocated staffing, it is not conducive to running a regime that functions. But they can't get staff in. If you've got to pay £12.50 to cross into London to park your car, where do you park your car? If you're working at Wandsworth or Pentonville or Wormwood School, where do you park your car? I mean, the whole thing, they've lost it. It needs somebody with some sense to sit down and actually work this out. But nobody's working it out, are they? And Rishi Sunak is a billionaire at the top of this. I mean, he'll never in his whole life have been kicked up and down the landings, or have boiling water thrown at him, or faces, or urine poured over his head and kicked in the bollocks by some mad inmate. Never. He won't. So he doesn't know what it's all about. He may read about it and think, oh, that sounds rather terrible. We'll have to do something about that. But who's going in? I saw that his wife was speaking at the Conservative conference. She's a billionairess. Get her a uniform on. Stick her in with the Vernon girls in Wandsworth and let her answer a few alarm bells. They'll find out then who stole the bloody ding-dong. Yeah, it will be a ding-dong. I want to see that. Last night on Amazon Prime, I watched a film featuring Sean Atwood. I highly recommend this. It's Britain's Hardest Men. It's extremely well done, and it features Sean Atwood, who happens to be my publisher, by the way. Sean Atwood interviewing numerous tough guys from all around Britain who have been involved in some serious altercations. People who've been worked on the doors when the doors were the doors, before they had all this woke and certificates, and all that. They didn't have anything like that. When I worked on the doors in the 1970s, when the only certificate you needed was from the hospital to say that they'd stitched you up properly. I had a few terrible mishaps there, people hitting you with missiles and sticking it. One bastard stuck a pint pot. There used to be glass pint pots, and they stuck one on the top of my head, stuck it in, and there were blood spurting all over the place. I can still remember him screaming as he ran into the door head first. You broke my nose, you bastard! I just threw him on the floor, shut the door, and went to hospital because I had this pint pot still in the top of my head. I tell you, they don't know the living these days. Anyway, I highly recommend it. It's Britain's Hardest Men. It's on Amazon Prime, and it features Sean Atwood. So there we have it, today's moan, today's Tales from the Jails. Have a look at the press. It's in the Daily Telegraph, it's in the Times, it's on the front page of the Daily Mail. It's all over the place. They just don't know what to do. The prisons are full. They can't sentence anybody anymore. The government is saying they do not want to go down the route that Tony Blair went down in 2007 when he released 1,500 inmates early. They say they don't want to do that as they're going to be tough on crime. At the moment, it's tough listening to them because they don't know what they're doing and it don't make any sense. So that's the time, folks. That's the song dinger. I'm going to recite you a poem off the top of my head here. Are you ready? Are you sitting comfortably? I don't think there's anything written on the top of my head. Oops, no, just a baldy head. But there will be a poem here. Are you ready? This is one I wrote years ago, and I've not got any notes. As you can see, there's my hands, handy pandies, no notes, and you can see I'm not looking at anything. This is a poem I wrote for my grandson when he was born, and it just came to me as in a dream. It's called Grandpa Grumps, because when my grandson was born, my daughter said to me, "What do you want to be called, grandfather or granddad or?" I said, "Nah, call me Grumps." So seriously, from that day on I became Grandpa Grumps, yeah? And this is the poem I wrote, or it wrote itself, and I woke up one morning about 4 o'clock and it was in my head, and this is about my grandson. I've just become a grandfather. My daughter gave birth to a lad, and suddenly all of my moaning has stopped, because now I'm just glad. I used to think days were real hard like, all working and plodding away, just filling in time till me passing. But now, well, I'm planning to stay. Wife says I'm getting a smirk on. I'm laughing and chuckling at kid, watching him yelling and striking. Aye, just like his mother once did. Now I see that this world has a purpose, and all of the trials, hurts and bumps that have gone into my life on the way to Grandpa Grumps. And though I might be an old codger, grey hair, baldy patch and fat tum, for one little chap I'm still perfect. And that fella, well, it's me grandson. You see, he sees only perfection. He doesn't see signs of old age. Just a fella that offers affection, his very own jolly plump sage. I offer him tales and tell stories, sing nursery rhymes and songs. He sits on my knee and he's laughing, and never a day is too long. Dear God, let this boy live in freedom. Do not let his innocence spoil. As he faces this world and its troubles, may he find peace of mind, not just toil. And one day when my song's just a memory, and he's travelled and wearing life's lumps, God grant him a grandchild to cuddle, and he too will be Grandpa Grumps. There you go. Tales from the Jails. Don't forget to like and subscribe.